Okay, got last stuff to do. I got the movie to finish, but first I got 3 things to do right now. I gotta do Cartoon Universe real quick, Moxie's backstory, and then 2 other things, and that's it. You watch Cartoon Universe, go right to Cartoon Universe, then finish Digimon, and they're not open tomorrow, Mother. Okay, guys, I'm cooking lunch right now, and that's all I'm gonna say right now. So we got 2 videos to watch. We got Cartoon Universe to watch, Audio Archives to watch, and that's it. So we're gonna watch both of those right now. Right now, guys, we do have some weather advisory. So, taking here is my timer for lunch. So my lunch will be done soon. So we got 2 minutes to watch. We got Cartoon Universe to watch, which is a now to watch. Then we got one more thing to watch with that. We got the Audio Archives to watch. This came out just now, so just watch this. And I'm reacting to this. Then we'll do some more videos I'm reacting to. So here we go, guys.
For those who missed it, Hell of a Boss released another work-in-progress trailer at the Level Up Expo in Nevada. I did a full video breaking down the trailer shot by shot that you can watch by clicking right up here in the corner.
Seen it.
But today I want to talk about the upcoming episode 3 of season 2 specifically. Everything we know about Moxie, the Greed Ring, his family, and his life before
He's rich.
Hit that subscribe button if you
so
haven't
Jerk said Moxie was adopted. Nope, Moxie wasn't adopted.
According to the trailer, 4 new episodes of Hell of a Boss are airing from spring to summer. So we go in summer, Hazbin Hotel begins.
Soon.
This means episode 3 of Hell of a Boss will likely air in March, with a new episode every 6 weeks or so, leading into what I imagine will be a late summer release for Hazbin Hotel. Episode 3 is set to take us back to the Greed Ring, which we saw in episode 2 of season 1, though with the pilot, it was technically the 3rd episode of the series overall. This time, Moxie appears to be going to a family home in the Greed Ring. Both Blitz and Millie are there, but Millie seems surprised to meet Moxie's father and asked why they haven't been introduced before. This says to me that Moxie was likely going to the Greed Ring alone for personal reasons, but Blitz managed to get Millie to spy on Moxie with him, like he did with both of them back in episode 7, and thus both ended up meeting Moxie's father.
Oh, that's right, this tripod's old and screwed up, that's why it's crooked.
Crimson, his full name, with his nickname just being
Wait, Moxie's full name is something Crimson?
This is him as Crimson, his full name, with his nickname just being Crim. Moxie introduces him as Crimson, his full name, with his nickname just being Crim, something seen even back in the early 2020 artwork alongside Moxie. As most of us have put together already, his family is deep in the mob, with Crimson being a mob boss, explaining the shark-like mob bodyguards he has around the home. This makes Moxie somewhat similar to Angel with his family's Italian mafia setup. Moxie claims in episode 5 that he is from the Wrath Ring, but we didn't see his family in that episode, only Millie's. I had previously theorized that his roots were elsewhere in the Wrath Ring in a city called Los Satania.
But you're right.
A city visited by Vraska during her tour of the 7 Rings, according to the Shark Robot t-shirt. Moxie appears to be a Wrath Imp, and I imagine he has family roots from there, as Blitz explains in episode 5, but that his family has business in the Greed Ring, so established a residence there as well, and perhaps even lives there full time. However, I fully expect they have other properties as well, and wouldn't be surprised if it...
So that's how he got the house. So that's how Moxie got the house. Moxie didn't buy the house, Daddy bought it for him. So that's how he got the house. Daddy got him the house.
It's explained in this episode that Moxie's mother is absent because she's in the Wrath Ring or something to that effect. In episode 1, Moxie goes on a tangent about the morality of killing a human family, thinking it's too far a line for them to cross, and who they end up of course having to kill that episode is a family. However, during his tangent, he rationalizes first that a shitty dad may be okay to kill, and then from there goes on to talk about killing an entire mob family. This, of course, is a reference to his own life, particularly his dad. The fact that he goes to the dad first and then himself through the mom family.
Back in a second, guys. I didn't eat my lunch. So we got this lunch. I didn't get the lunch. I didn't get my lunch. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to get my lunch. My lunch wasn't cooked properly, so I had to cook my lunch again. What I mean for lunch? If you know me, you know I'm eating, but I'm not gonna tell you. But
family says a lot about how corrupted he probably feels by his father. Moxie, despite being a demon from hell, wants to be a good person at the end of the day. He doesn't do it to get into heaven, but rather because that is something he feels he should do.
He'll go to heaven.
A lot of this probably comes not from his family teaching it to him, but rather seeing how his family was better off than the other imps, and likely how this came about because his family would take advantage of them. Crimson is not being presented as just a wealthy businessman, but as a mob boss. These sharks that work for him are believed to be native to the Greed Ring and are likely loan sharks. And this wealth that Moxie comes from is probably fueled by his father taking advantage of other demons with loans they need, but at interest rates they cannot healthily pay back, keeping them in debt for life. Moxie's father may have only made it to the Greed Ring because his family was tricky enough to do this within their own community and population before being sucked into the bigger game that the Greed Ring appears to be running. Mammon is in charge of the banks of hell as the Prince of...
There's things on here. That's interesting.
The Greed Ring, and is even depicted on the currency it has called souls. Hell seems to have a cap on interest rates, but through his illegal underwater network of loan sharks, he can charge even higher rates than is legally allowed. If Moxie spent any time in the Wrath Ring, he likely saw how his father was essentially enslaving his own people to gain more...
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard. Have you ever done a recording where your guest just had terrible internet issues?
More wealth and status, and that made him gain some sense of not wanting to be like his father, who he deems to be bad. This doesn't stop him from killing humans, but his goal is to kill humans that are deserving of punishment, even if only for their petty part in a bigger scheme of scandalous actions. At the very least, he expects to only kill adults, as they have had a chance to grow and develop and figure out who they are, and wherever they die at this point, they'll end up where they belong, whether in heaven or hell, with an immortal existence much longer than his or any other of his species will experience. Moxie undoubtedly got wrapped up in his family business, perhaps while also exploring his theater passion for some time, but eventually he would decide to leave and find a different way to support himself. Killing humans, preferably as adults, was something seen as less evil than whatever Moxie's father was doing, as the human's immortal soul would go on to have infinite time to try and thrive, even if in hell, but the native demons that Crimson exploits would spend their entire existence trapped in his system of loans and interest. While working for his father, Moxie would probably get to know a few of the loan sharks as well and develop something of a connection with Chaz. In the preview gifs we get for episode 3, we can see that Chaz has an explicit sexual interest in Moxie, and I imagine that Moxie has something of an attraction to Chaz as well, that it isn't entirely one-sided. However, I don't think Moxie has nearly the kinds of feelings for Chaz that he does for Millie. Chaz may be a bit seductive, but I don't think this is a plot about Moxie questioning his feelings for Millie, but rather remembering why he left his family, as well as Chaz, to start a new life with her. In the trailer, we can see Chaz performing at a club called Big Dicks with a...
Look at Elvis. looks like well, that's Chaz. It looks a little bit like Elvis. If he's singing Elvis songs, that'd be. He has 5 fingers on one hand. Oh, okay, it's his thumb. Okay.
A similar vibe to Big Aussies. Big Aussies is a club owned by Osmodius and the Lust Ring, where Moxie recently took Millie. Whatever shenanigans that Chaz ropes Moxie into likely has to do with this club, and Moxie would get an inversion of his experience in the Lust Ring. There, he and Millie were ultimately able to sing about how important their love is, how it isn't shallow by being buried in carnal sexuality. In episode 2 of season 1, the primary focus of the Greed Ring was Lululand, which we saw from signs and behind-the-scenes material was actually a ripoff of Lucifer's theme park Lulu World in the Pride Ring. This is a passion project of Lucifer's and something that fellow Prince Mammon would rip off for the purpose of just making money, not having a particular interest in theme parks. This has set the stage for the Greed Ring to be a place where Mammon rips off every other prince as much as he can, taking what they are passionate about and creating a cheap yet expensive knockoff for customers to be lured into. Lululand itself did this by including a Robo Fizzaroli, something produced by Big Aussie's factory, and something mostly used by demons as a personal love bot, but something Lululand uses as an actual performer, the same way the real Fizzaroli performs at Big Aussie's. Big Dicks is thus a really shallow knockoff of Big Aussie's, framing Chaz's attempts to seduce Moxie as just as shallow. I think a lot of this episode will be Moxie getting guilted into helping Chaz, who uses that to also try and seduce Moxie, but fails because Moxie only sees how he and Millie go the extra mile for one another, whereas Chaz reflects his culture, which is doing something as cheaply as possible to lure people in and milk them for as much as possible. Perhaps Moxie and Chaz had a time where they were romantically very invested with each other, but Moxie probably felt that for a relationship involving 2 men, it felt very one-sided, with Chaz always playing the angle to gain extra benefit at the expense of Moxie, the same way his father perhaps works the native populations to benefit himself, and the same way Mammon does this with even the other princes to benefit himself. Greed is a culture that lets anyone in, as long as they understand that greed means screwing over as many other people as possible for your own benefit. One ruled by the Prince Mammon, but open to even the lowest species of hell, so long as they can scan their own species as part of this bigger system. And this reflects in even the way that they treat their own family, such as Crimson may treat Moxie, or in their relationships, the way Chaz perhaps treated Moxie as well. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on the Greed Ring and Moxie's past life in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.
The archives. Binge.
If you're a college student, keep watching. One of my least favorite things about writing papers in college was remembering the correct format.
Ben's junk. Ooh, I can't wait to see. I'm gonna watch that. Okay, after this I gotta watch Digimon. Finish up watching that Digimon I was watching, and that was it. The thing about having the camera, purple camera, like this, is better than having a... So your cell phone is... I can move this around still, but it still will be a little crooked. That's what I hate about this this tripod, but... Here's what you got. Oh, Rio, Sugar. Ooh, 88, okay.
And welcome to a brief encounter with Ben's junk. Not that that would make it any less special. And of course, knowing me, I will totally blow that joke and this thing will run way long, and yeah, it's a chance we'll have to take.
Huh. FM wireless video camera microphone system. Oh. Well, they use in movies. They have the microphone pack and stuff behind their butt. So this must be one of the early versions of the old microphone packs they used to put behind their back. They still do today, the microphone pack. And they talk. Okay, makes some sense now.
Anyway, before I even get to the item proper, I've got a bit of a backstory for this one, so get comfy. Now, a little bit of inside baseball for you here. When I'm ordering stuff for archive, especially that's broadcasty, you might say, I use the term loosely, I instead of always doing Fleabay, I'm known to hit up the broadcast surplus places. And the ones that actually will ship to you almost always have a minimum order, like $50. Now, generally, this isn't a problem. Whatever I'm after is invariably more than that $50 anyway. But I've had 2 occasions to date where the item I wanted didn't quite meet the threshold, and I had to fatten up my order a little. So one time I was already like at the 40 or 45 mark, and I just snagged a couple of adapters or whatever they happened to have. Well, in this case, the item I actually wanted was $20, and they just didn't have much in the way of adapters and stuff, but I took what they had and got some microphone clips and stuff, but again, it wasn't much. I think it got me up to the 35 mark. So I started fishing around for maybe some cheap thing I could use for a Ben's Junk eventually, which led me to this. An item that I have never sought out. Obviously, it was not a thrift store find, but here we go. So finally getting to the item, this is the Realistic, read Radio Shack, FM wireless video camera microphone system. In other words, it's...
$70. 1977. In 1988, according to the 1989 Radio Shack. Okay, so this goes for about $70 brand new. That makes sense.
A very early wireless lavalier system. And I'm kind of amused that the broadcast surplus place had something like it was clearly geared more towards consumer lavalier system. And I'm read Radio Shack. FM wireless video camera microphone system. In other words, it's a very early wireless lavalier system. And I'm kind of amused that...
To find one of those, those are really impossible to get. What? Stuffed. Pack of turkey.
that the broadcast surplus place had something like this, because this was clearly geared more towards consumers. I can't imagine any self-respecting, major using something like this, because it's just not that good. and you'll hear it eventually. And yeah, I have done my typical dry run with this already.
It's a strawberry.
So anyway, it's really very simple. It's just a transmitter and receiver, the transmitter and mic on one end, and then the receiver, which just attaches to the top of your nice big chunky camcorder, and I'll have occasion to dig one of mine out. And unfortunately, neither of mine are fully working, so we'll have to tweak things a little. But anyway, these days, this sort of thing is perfectly commonplace.
Not in the 80s.
If you watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, certainly, invariably you'll see presenters who are wearing a lavalier mic, obviously, but there's no wire coming out of that thing. That's because they have one of the more modern setups. And I've never gotten one myself. The only ones I thought looked any good are so expensive that they're worth more than all of my regular mics combined. Now, amusingly enough, I'm wearing a lavalier right now, but it's just a normal old wired one, which is just as well. It's probably more reliable that way, and I like the one that I use. And mine was just a $20 Sony thing. So anyway, getting back to this, I can't picture even maybe a college AV group using this. It's just that wonky. But you won't know it until you see it and hear it in action. So let's take a cut here and we'll take a look at the individual parts. Well, here are the remnants of the accessories that came with this. As you can see, things are kind of rotting a little bit. But
Back in a minute, guys. I need to wash my hands. Hey guys, I'm back. Just had a hickey, salty.
Amusingly enough, my unit seems to be new old stock. All the wires still have the nice crisp machine-tied twist ties on
Those
them.
wires would be dealt with.
But yeah, what we got here is a single earphone. And of course, it being a single mono thing, it's just a basic tip sleeve, 1/8" plug on the other side.
I have a few of those here.
Here's what's left of the foam, and about half of it is welded to the inside of the baggie. But yeah, there's no shielding on this whatsoever. Obviously, I never bothered to take off the twist tie. I've just been using normal headphones to test any earphone part of it. Now this, you would think this would be the clip for the microphone wire to hook to your shirt, but it's about twice the size of the mic wire, and there's no spot, like on this maybe I could force it onto the corner of the plug, but that wouldn't make any sense, would it? So I'm kind of at a loss as to what the function is for that. Can't think of anywhere where it actually fits. So anyway, let's get into the main parts. So here we've got the transmitter, which is also the microphone end of things, and it couldn't be any more basic. You have an on and off switch. That's it. Everything runs on 9-volt batteries, so there's a 9-volt in here and there's a 9-volt in the receiver end of things. Now this, we got the mic, It's hardwired, so you can't really do a whole lot. And it's a pretty short leash. I'd guess around 1.5 feet. Now, I'm not a huge guy or anything. I'm 6 feet on the button. Well, if I try and clip this onto my belt, which admittedly I've been afraid to do because it feels like it's going to break off, the part here to fold back doesn't seem to work, and it doesn't want to spring up too.
I'll put it down to 7 minutes. Shirt. Pocket.
Here's the definition of pocket. A small bag sewn into or on clothing so as to form part of it, used for carrying small articles.
too easily. But if I just hold it next to my belt, this doesn't quite make it up to my shirt collar. So I have to wear either a buttoned shirt and have a pocket in that shirt and stick this in there, or I just have to carry it. Now, obviously, the clip does not work with this. That size is just a little off. So it means I have to carry the mic or try and, I don't know, tape it to my shirt or something. And getting back to the 9-volt thing, it's loosened up since I've opened this a few times now. But if I open it up, there's maybe a third of an inch of wire on the bit that you snap your 9-volt battery into. And it's a very tight fit. I'd probably have to grab a knife or something to get this back out. But the only way...
In mine. The way this fits is if you have to force the battery itself down